We're live.
Okay, we're live.
Oh, we're live. Okay. Oh, it says it. I see it. Oh, this is backwards.
You know what? I hope that gets recorded.
It says it right
It did.
here. But my camera's reversed. It's really throwing me off. So I feel like I need to point this way. It's weird. Anyway, hi. Thank you guys for being here today. We've never done a YouTube live, so this is new to all of us and kind of fun. So I wanted to take this time today. I guess we can start off with just introducing each of you, and I guess myself, and we can do that, and then we'll dive into sort of what we're going to be talking about today, which is the Zillow Flex program and Zillow Flex leads. What are they? Are they amazing? Are they not? Do you need leads to build your real estate business, etc.? So I'm Anna Scarborough. I am the Director of Operations for Spotlight Realty. We are affiliated with Compass. We are a brokerage that is located in the Triangle area of North Carolina. And we sort of specialize in helping new agents specifically build their book of business, I would say is one of our very strong points. So I will now introduce Bill Stevenson. Introduce yourself, Bill. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Bill Stevenson. I am the founder of Spotlight, or the big cheese of Spotlight, and founded the business about, I guess 2014. So we're like 8-9 years in, something like that. Yeah. And been doing real estate since 2010. So yeah.
Cool.
I guess that's me.
Yeah. It's been great working with you for, how long have you been here now? 5 years? 5 years? 6 years?
Wow.
Something like that. Long time, but we go way back. We go way back.
We do.
You are indeed the big cheese. And Dave Wiley, how about you? Hello, welcome.
Hello. I'm Dave Wiley. I am the Director of Sales, or Sales Manager, what do you want to call it? And I joined Spotlight almost 7 years ago, I believe. Yep. It's been a long haul as well. And fortunately, Bill taught me everything I know. And now I can bestow that knowledge to everybody else who joins our team.
Yes, you are such a good friend and colleague, and just awesome to learn from. So thank you both for taking the time.
And nicest guy in the world. I think that should be your title, by the way.
Yes.
So if you change the title from Bianca, if you can do it, change Dave's title from Sales Lord to nicest guy in the world.
Nice guy.
Nice guy.
Thanks, guys.
Right. No, but awesome. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your Thursdays to be here. I'm excited to chat about Zillow and Zillow Flex and what that is. So we're just going to dive right in, and I'm just going to ask you guys to share I'll prompt you, but I guess for starters, what the heck is Zillow Flex? And I guess let's start with Bill.
Yeah, first of all, we should probably say that if you happen to be on our YouTube channel and you're expecting to hear about real estate and what the real estate market is like, and you're a buyer or seller or whatever, this video is probably not for you. Yeah. This video is for those who are maybe in the business or thinking about getting into the business and want to know how to build their lives, their book of business, and their and how to do well in real estate. So we'll start there.
Great.
How to do well in real estate. One thing that you definitely need if you expect to do well, and if you expect to do anything at all in real estate, at least making a living, and that's you're going to need leads. You really can't. It's really hard to build a business just with your mom and dad and your family and friends and people like that. So, or you can do some, but it's probably not going to be enough for you to make a decent living. If you are able to get leads, and leads that have high intent to convert into clients, then you stand a much better chance of doing well. And that's what Zillow has always given us. Not just Zillow Flex. We'll talk about what Zillow Flex is in a minute, but Zillow has always been an amazing lead source because it's it is the most popular, most highly trafficked real estate website in the world, or in the country. Yep. But I don't know about the world.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Europe?
Possibly. I'm sure there's somebody in probably owns the real estate world in China, but it's not Zillow. But in America, it's definitely the biggest, and by a long way. It's not close, right? Zillow and Trulia are actually one company. Those two combined are by far the biggest real estate website. So that means people go to Zillow looking for homes, looking for agents.
It's a household name.
For homes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, it's a household name. And so those people who go to Zillow looking for homes, so if they want to see a home, they click a little button. I'd like to see this home. That's when it comes to us. So in the Triangle, in Durham in particular, Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, Apex, Raleigh. And Raleigh, of course. Those leads come to our team essentially. Zillow Flex is a little bit of a different angle, and you pay for that. So I started off my career paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month for that. $1,200 a month is where I started. That's a hard check to write when you don't have any money, right? You don't have any money and you don't have any business coming in. So some months is an easy check to write. Too many months is a very hard check to write. So Zillow swapped things around a little bit recently, within the last couple of years. And now you don't pay anything for them. They're still hard. They're hard to get, and we'll explain that in a minute. You don't pay anything for them. You use Zillow Flex. With Zillow Flex leads, you pay just a referral fee if and when you close the deal.
Right. So there's no sort of overhead for just getting a lead into your hands.
No upfront cost, and later on, as we did it more and more, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but I believe our monthly expenditure on Zillow, when it was market-based pricing, was closer to $5,000 a month, maybe.
Yeah, it was, I think the maximum was $6,000.
Right.
And that, if you think a $1,200 check is hard to write, $6,000 is many times harder.
Correct.
5 times harder is by my math.
5 times harder.
5 times harder a check to write. So yeah, that is true, and it kept changing, right? That's one of the problems with market-based pricing before they changed over to Flex, is that you didn't know if you were going to pay. I started out paying something like $50 per lead.
Right.
Now I think it's closer to $1,000 per lead.
Right.
In Zillow, right? So yeah, so it was hard to budget what you were going to spend and how many leads you were going to get, because it was constantly going up. And the more agents got into Zillow and saw how valuable it was, the higher the prices got. So there's Flex ends all that, which is nice.
Right. It's a great segue actually to what you mentioned before, I guess, so how do you get them? There's a difference between Zillow leads and market-based pricing leads, and I'll sort of leave this one on the table to whoever wants to answer this, but how do you get into the program? How do you get these leads? What do you have to do, et cetera?
Well, Bill, you were sly enough from the get-go. So tell us, how did we get into the Flex program?
Well, how did we get into it? It was, as I said, we were doing a lot with Zillow at the time. This was a few years ago, and Zillow has changed their business model, especially in the Triangle, so that they were no longer just selling leads to any agents who wanted to write a check. Thank God they didn't change that in 2010, because I would never, new people wouldn't be able to do it. New people can't do it anymore, it seems.
Yep.
So
that's a very important point. Like, new people cannot get in.
Right. In the Triangle, you can't just buy Zillow leads anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So that's an important thing to know. And I feel bad for people who are just getting into the business, because I basically built this entire business on Zillow, on Zillow and similar services, lead services. Now you can't do that. When they were switching over to Flex, we made sure that we were on their radar to try to, to be into the program, because we knew that not everybody was going to be on Flex. They were trying to winnow it down. As it was, I think Zillow was concerned that if they just gave leads to anybody who was willing to write a check, that really damages their brand, and it potentially could damage the brand, right?
Well, it did. I mean, I think it did for a moment there, and moving it to performance-based was key to Right. So instead of just anybody being able to get them, and then sometimes they didn't even follow up. Sometimes they didn't even reach out to the client who was looking to buy a home or looking to see a particular home. And Zillow felt that was damage to their brand. I'm speaking for them right now, but I'm pretty sure this is true. They thought it was damaging to their brand, so they started
to rate all of the agents, have the clients rate all of the agents that they work with or that they were connected with. And that was the first step in going to Flex. And then the ones that were top rated were invited into this Flex program, and everyone else is pushed out now. And there are only, I think there are 12 teams in the Triangle.
Yep. Yes, including us.
Yeah, including us.
Yeah.
12 teams in the Triangle that are getting Zillow leads. And I believe we're the only one that is headquartered in the west part of the Triangle. I think that's true. Is it true? We're the only ones in Durham, Chapel Hill, Hillsborough.
We're sort of the most substantial in that area. Dash Carolina, obviously, is out there.
Oh yeah, but they're headquartered somewhere else. They're not.
Yeah,
They're
right.
more.
We are headquarters in Durham, Chapel Hill. So, but I think that's a great point. That Zillow not only is protecting their brand, but in working with them for the past couple of years now, they really do want the customer experience to be fantastic.
Right.
And that's important to us as well. And so I think Zillow aligning themselves with really top-notch partners in these areas, Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill, the Greater Triangle area, is paramount to everybody's success, right? So that was just a great point. I just wanted to bring that up. Dave, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, yes, I guess I do have things to add to that. It was interesting because I got to experience market-based pricing when I had first joined Bill's team and see how that worked. And there was oftentimes Bill and I would be somewhat upset about the fact that leads it was whoever had the biggest pockets could pay for or buy up zip codes, and they would basically hog all these leads. And so we had looked into how much business are these people doing, these, people who are buying all these leads, are they actually converting these leads? Is there anything of value there that they're providing that, could we do better? I wish we had that opportunity. And so we were excited when they moved to this. I mean, obviously very excited that we could be invited to be part of it.
Make the cut.
Yeah, thank God. But also knowing that, as two people who really care about the client satisfaction, but also that we're doing our best for everyone and that we're actually providing some value as agents. I was eager to have Flex as a performance-based program where, we could prove our mettle and we could show that, yes, we are capable of helping these clients, and we're going to do a fantastic job at doing so. Right. Those leads more of those would hopefully trickle our way, and they did. And so I think all in all, I'm very proud to be part of the program, very happy and blessed. And I just think it's a great use of what Zillow did. I think it was a great pivot for their
great move. Yeah. Well, and I just know that, both of you, your quality of work and care for the client, definitely that accountability has trickled down to those agents on our team who are also part of the program. So not just the two of you, but right. You've been able to sort of use Zillow's training and accountability metrics to help guide our team members that are maybe newer to the business. And they've seen raging success in building their book of business, especially brand new agents, right. Getting contracts within a month or two with your guidance, along with the accountability that Zillow has for them. It helps, right? Accountability helps, makes you better.
That's right. I mean, accountability sometimes feels like it's conflict, but it's not. It's more help than anything else. It's not conflict. It's not. Sometimes it feels like you're getting a prostate exam or something. That's constantly being examined. But in the end, it's really necessary. It's something that's good for you, much like an exam, like a medical exam.
Get off the exam.
Let's move on from that.
But sometimes it does feel like, okay, so how many leads did I get? How many people did I meet with? How many people did I set an appointment with? How many people am I showing homes? How many agents? And so there's this funnel that they examine that's very, very useful to see how well you're doing and where you're tripping up, right? If you're going from getting the lead and not showing them homes, then you can see exactly where you need to work on or what you need to work on. So I think it's fantastic.
I do too. It's
absolutely
phenomenal.
Because it's hard to put as bosses, as leaders in an organization, it's really hard to get people to buy into accountability, even though it's completely necessary. when we just like make it up. But when it's being imposed on us by Zillow, and in order to get these leads, we have to be accountable in this way. I think it's great.
The lead source is going to go away if you don't do these things. So do you want more business or do you want less business? If you want more business, you got to do these things.
Simple question. Do you want more or less business? You pick.
You pick. You decide. Awesome. Well, cool. So I guess now just sort of moving on to, we've heard about, what it is, how it works, accountability, metrics, how we got into the program. Obviously we're selective about who even on our team will be on that program. So it really is the people who are wanting to make this their career, their job, really want to build their book of business. So let's talk about that. How have both of you used Zillow leads in general to build your books of business? I'd love to start with you, Bill.
Okay. So as I said, when I started in this business, Zillow was kind of new, at least they weren't new as a website, but I didn't, comparatively new, right? And so I knew who they were, but I didn't know like how they made money. And then I quickly found out that they made money by selling leads to agents. And so I was totally on board because that's exactly what I needed, leads. So, so that was good. And so taking these perfect strangers, what's nice is when you're brand new, your mother knows that you're not very experienced in real estate, and all of your friends know that you're not experienced in real estate. And so anybody that is sort of in your sphere of influence knows that you may not even be very good at this, right? Perfect strangers have no idea. I mean, leads that come from Zillow, just, hey, he's on Zillow, he's my agent. Okay, that's great. And so it's much easier to present yourself as an expert in real estate. Chances are you do know a lot more than them anyway, because they don't know you, right? So it's a real blessing when you're starting out in real estate to work with perfect strangers. I think Dave agrees with that too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, 100%. Because when I first got started, I think you had mentioned this earlier about your sphere, regardless of how big it is and how many people like you just hit on, you're inexperienced as a new agent, and so there is a level of confidence building that needs to occur before you're going to feel very good about helping your family and friends. And not to say that you're not going to give fantastic service to these complete strangers. That would be against what we're just talking about if you were to suck for them. But it does take a little bit off your plate. And so when I joined your team, Bill, or our team, I was fresh, right? And I did have a big sphere. I knew quite a few people from my previous work. And yet I still just did not have the confidence of, hey, I'm a brand new agent. I really just need a softball a little bit to get going, because I don't feel confident in myself that I know what I'm talking about when we go through these things.
I'm having such a hard time picturing you not being a confident person.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, it's just really hard.
I can give you an example. I can give you an example of this. When I met Dave, one of the first appointment we went on together was I think the parents of a close friend. I'm not quite sure exactly how you knew them, but Dave had gone in. He had already promised them to discount his fees like substantially by something like 40 or 50%. And so that's how, because he didn't have the confidence to say that I'm actually worth what I charge.
Yeah, I mean that's great. Yes, I did, and not knowing any better. And again, I mean, maybe at that time that was warranted because I wasn't necessarily a great agent and I didn't know what I know now. And a lot of that obviously comes from years of experience. That is half the knowledge that you gain, but there is a level of everyone has to start somewhere. And so if you don't have an avenue to get that kickstart, you're going to squander a lot of time. And I did. I mean, that's the tough thing about it is, joining Bill was not my first foray into real estate. I spent 6 months with another firm and loved them, great people, but I just did not have any avenue to get things going. And so Bill recruited me and gave me this promise, and I was like, all right, let me see how it goes. And I thank God I did. But yeah, I mean, and that is how I grew my business substantially, because the flip side of it too, even if you do have a big sphere, and I think this is what you were kind of mentioning earlier, Bill, even if you do have a bigger sphere, they're not always going to be ready to go. And the beauty of having Zillow and a constant lead source of ready and active buyers is that you could supplant what hopefully is a business that is mostly your sphere with constant leads. And one of the nice things that we do at Spotlight is that those leads from Zillow, once you've converted them and you put them under contract and you close, well, now they're sphere leads. And a lot of teams don't do that. A lot of teams will hold on to that lead indefinitely. That's always ours. That's not what we do. We want all of our agents to build their books just like I did, like I was able to. We hope that you never leave. But if you did, the fact is that is your lead, and we want you to grow that business because Sphere is what it's all about at the end of the day. The best way to build that is going to be through constant lead source.
I love
Yeah,
that.
so I think,
so good.
Anna, the question you asked at first was how have we built our business? How do we use leads to build our business? How does one use leads to build our business?
Right.
And Dave's touching on an important point here, that the idea behind it, because when you get a lead, if you convert them once and have one transaction with them, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not what you're after. What you're after is making these perfect strangers who are moving to town or who need a real estate agent become part of your sphere. So soon,
Clients for life.
The clients for life, and they're friends. They become friends and family, not family often, but I'm sure it's happened. Never. But I want to show you something just to illustrate this.
Yeah, we have a graphic, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Illustrate this in a very strong way. Okay, and I'm sharing my screen here. It's a technical thing. You wouldn't understand.
Troubleshooting.
All right, can you see that? Is that showing up?
Not yet.
I don't. Oh,
No,
yeah. Here we
go.
Yes, now I see it. Blue and orange and gray. Yes.
Okay, so you can see I started buying. I don't know if you can see my mouse.
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. This is where I started buying Zillow leads in 2011 and went reasonably well, did maybe $500,000 worth of leads. And it jumped way up in 2012. 2012, I did I did something like 32 transactions, and 17 of them came from leads, from leads that I bought from Zillow.
So that's the blue, right? The blue is actually lead coming in. Okay, from Zillow.
Yeah, the blue is just the initial contact, the initial lead transaction. So if I did one transaction with every lead that I got, this blue line over the course of time would be, how big my business was.
So it's still not bad, but
it's not terrible, but it would have been, $3 million or so, average around $3 million a year.
Sure. Okay.
If we put onto that so if you do a good job of adding them to your sphere and keeping in touch with them and making sure you stay in close contact with them, that they would never dream of going for anybody else, then you start to see repeat business. So repeat business doesn't happen right away because, when somebody buys a home, they don't typically sell it within a year or two, but eventually, there's a momentum to this business, and you see this orange space is the repeat business that I've gotten. And then on top of that, they will occasionally, and if you work it right, they will often refer you to their friends and family.
Right.
And so then there's this gray area, which is that. So growing from about $3 million per year just from leads consistently to 6.5 from leads and the other transactions that happen with those very same leads.
So doubling your volume.
Yeah, doubling your volume, and this is where you're getting to be. Now you're starting to make a pretty decent living, right? And this is, by the way, this doesn't count anybody who was actually in my sphere before. This is just how business grew. So you can see going from here to here, based on leads, even though the leads themselves were pretty flat. So I think that's really
stay consistent. I mean, there's only so many leads that can go around and that come in, but what you're doing is building on top of it. So for every lead that you've got, when you've joined Zillow Flex or joined our team, they really do, like this graph shows, build on each other. And so the amount of referrals that I've gotten from past Zillow clients, it's astronomical. I wish I had my own graph that I could show you. I don't.
Maybe you should make one.
We can come up with that. We could totally come up with that.
Yeah, we could. But it really, it's wild to see how much my business has grown, and that's due in no small part to the ability to supplant it, like I said, with a consistent, but honestly a very, very, very good lead source, because we have tried almost all of them. And
these are the best.
But there's
nothing really comes close. And Realtor.com are pretty good, but they're not quite the same. Not quite the same. There's high intent in this. And by the way, I wanted to point out that again, you can only get Zillow Flex leads. You can only get Zillow leads now if you're part of one of 12 teams in the triangle. But if you were to join us, if an agent joins our team, we teach them not just how to convert leads. We teach them how to make that graph theirs. We teach them how to keep in touch, and we not only teach them, we make it super easy. So you don't have to think about it. You just have to. It's almost like a set it and forget it kind of thing, except for phone calls.
Except for that, you got to actually work, and that's part of the accountability. That
you have to work to get paid. What?
That's
awesome.
crazy talk.
Crazy talk. Absolutely preposterous. No, I love that though. I have witnessed that so many times where brand new agents come in, they're sort of like, help me. And we just give them these tools and they're like, whoa, I can do this. And within a year or two, they've gained so much confidence. They've built their own book of business. They're having repeat success. They're getting referrals. So all of that is so great. We should make a graph for each one of our agents for this.
We really should.
Just thinking that through in my head. Awesome. Just, I guess, to sort of wrap things up, this sounds like a great program. What are the downsides or the potential things that maybe aren't so great, or if is there something negative, et cetera?
There's nothing that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. No, I mean, I think the biggest downside, and I think this is where, the gut reaction is, hey, I'm going to be paying a referral for these leads. And as Bill kind of illustrated earlier, well, the flip side is you could be paying up front for these leads. So while a referral, yeah, it's a pain, it stings when you get that commission check at the end, but that's also life, right? And so you can either pay that up front with lead source that you're paying, and then maybe or maybe not converting that lead.
Right. No guarantee, right?
No guarantee.
Right.
Here, if you converted them, yeah, you're going to pay a referral. But to me, I mean, that's honestly what a trade-off, right? If I can build my business, and again, there's not that upfront cost, because a lot of, well, especially I know this as a new agent, or when I was a new agent, I had no money for upfront costs. And so, and I still don't know, but I still wouldn't want to do necessarily upfront costs to when I've got an option like this where it doesn't have to be coming out of my pocket. And that's why I joined a team to begin with, is that I knew that I could get the resources that I need that would otherwise, as a solo agent, would be considered upfront costs, could be, taken for me by the team. Right. Zillow Flex is the exact same concept. And again, as a new agent, I mean, that's what you need to get your rocket going, I suppose.
Right. So it truly is like a pay when you close program. I think that's just really important to say. You don't pay anything if this person doesn't convert. If they convert in 2 years, you've had them in your pipeline for 2 years, and you pay then when they close. So it's really important. Do you have anything to add to that, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, the downside, of course, is the when you close, a significant chunk is taken out. But if you do the math, the expectation is that we will close something like 10% of the leads that we get, right? Right. And that's very, very good. That's very high. I mean, compared to most other lead sources, you're lucky to do 1/10 of that.
Right.
We have varied between, I think, 7 and 12% over the course of our time, using Zillow leads. But so 10% is by no means unrealistic. But if you think about it, if you close 10% of the leads, and if you had paid for those leads, remember, those are about $1,000 per.
Right.
And so basically you pay $10,000. If you do 10%, you pay $10,000 for that one lead that you closed.
Right.
Well, the flex fee isn't nearly that high. No. It's high. It's probably a third of that, depending on the volume that you're.
The price of the property, yeah. The
price of the property, exactly, and the commission that you actually earned, right?
Yeah.
So,
but to that point, you're also building on your business. So again, and yes, you could build on your business with a paid upfront lead, but pick your poison here. I would easily take the thing that is not going to be as much of a financial commitment upfront than something that, again, if I convert it. Yes. And then I know that this is somebody that I really do want to work with too.
Absolutely. I think that's such a good point. Like, I'm paying for the people that I actually want to work with in the future, versus I'm paying for all of this to maybe get 1 or 2 people who I work with in the future. Right. I love that. So Yeah, awesome. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I got to tell you, I would have been thrilled, if I didn't have to write those checks in the very beginning and could only have paid. Oh, and another benefit of it is let's say you work for a broker somewhere. This isn't really relevant for us, but let's say you're at a broker and this is going to be very personal. This is exactly what I did.
We love personal, like prostate.
Yeah.
Yeah. How personal are we talking?
Yeah. No, not that personal. But so when I started out, I was with a firm and I was paying that firm 50%, actually more than 50%, 57% for everything that I closed. Well, so when I closed, but I was paying for the leads. I was buying the leads myself. So I was paying $1,000, $2,000, whatever per month for the leads. And then I had to give 57% to my broker when I closed it. So if you're getting Zillow Flex leads and you're paying referral fees, that's split with the broker. So if you're paying, let's say a $1,000 Flex fee, it's 500 of that is, if you're on a 50-50 split, 500 of that is paid for by your broker in essence. So that's another great reason that I think Flex paying referral fees is better than buying leads.
Right.
And
I guess
that's really what we're talking about here. That's the only the difference between Zillow leads, aside from the high intent and the you can expect to close 10% of them. Aside from that, did I just freeze or did I just like?
You did. I didn't know if you were like, dramatic pause. I wasn't sure what you were doing.
Anyway, so I can't even remember what I was trying to say. That's the idea is: are you going to buy leads that might close, or are you going to get leads that you only pay for when you do close? That's the only debate here. You buy them elsewhere or get them from Zillow Flex.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the other thing that we as agents have run into as far as like a downside of Flex, and I'm going to spin this because I think there's a positive in everything because I'm the nicest guy in the world apparently. But is the accountability. It is it can be a culture shock or a check to your system as an agent with the accountability that Zillow Flex does require. And I know for like new agents, a lot of agents who, not all new agents, but some new agents, hey, I joined real estate so I could dictate my own schedule and I could do whatever the heck I wanted. And so I could be semi-successful because, this is a true real job that actually requires, you actually doing a lot of work if you want to be successful in it. And so with the accountability that Flex requires, it is there for a reason, and it's a good thing. I mean, it can suck at first to have to check in and to through the CRM and make sure that you're actually calling these people. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's there for a reason so that you don't forget these people and you are going down the rhythms to actually getting this person under contract. So while it does take a little bit of getting used to, it is absolutely a good thing. And if your entire business can be run like that, chances are you'll be pretty successful.
Yep. Well, awesome. I think we've got our marketing coordinator. Maybe she could put up the link that she had on her screen. Any closing comments? Just anything else you guys want to add?
So we're not going to. So we would love to talk with you about joining our team if you're a new agent or an agent that wants to get more leads and wants to grow your business. There are 12 teams that you could join and get Zillow Flex leads. We'd be glad to name them all for you if that's what you want. If we're not a good fit for you, please consider going to one of these other teams because they are having this lead source in particular has been crucial to mine and Dave's and everyone on our team's growth.
Success.
Right. So really should, look into one of those.
One of them. Yes, one of them. So I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I'm pretty sure I'm right down the hall, so I'll see you guys in a minute. But this has been great. I appreciate you sharing your stories and your background and history with working with leads and how it's helped you guys. And if anybody has any other things to add, otherwise we can just wrap up.
We would love for you to join us.
All right,
Oh, that was awful. That was
Bill actually is frozen now, I think.
Bill froze.
I think he actually froze. Yes. All right. See you guys.
Bye, guys.